We go now to a live look at the Capitol this morning. The scene outside much different than just a year ago. Last year on this day, hundreds of people stormed the Capitol building, forcing lawmakers into hiding. A day that was supposed to mark the certification of a presidential win for President Biden instead is remembered as a day of violence and death. 140 Capitol officers were hurt and 5 people died.
As of today, more than 725 people have been charged in that attack, including one man from Central Texas. Texas Today's Barry Roy takes a look at the life of Christopher Grider over the past year.
As we all watch the deadly chaos of January 6th unfold on television, we soon learned that one Central Texan was there, not only in the midst of it all, but just feet away from where Ashley Babbitt was shot and killed as she refused orders from Capitol Police. That man, Christopher Grider, the owner of Kissing Tree Vineyards in Bruceville Eddy, went on the record with his involvement 2 days later, telling 6 News in a brief phone call that he had an attorney and couldn't comment further, but the backlash against him was politically driven and overblown. 6 News called the FBI field office in San Antonio to ask if Grider was on their radar for his involvement. FBI Director Chris Wray told 6 News at the time, "We do not tolerate violent agitators and extremists who use the guise of First Amendment protected activity to incite violence and wreak havoc. Such behavior betrays the values of our democracy. Make no mistake, with our partners, we will hold accountable those who participated in yesterday's siege of the Capitol." 3 weeks and a day following the violent storming of Washington, Grider surrendered to the FBI, and 6 days after that, on January 27th, Grider was remanded to the custody of the U.S. Marshal's Office and taken to Washington, D.C. to be arraigned on federal charges for his role in the violence.
That's where we have to spend.
In a series of interviews, Grider's attorney, Brett Mayer, asked the public to withhold their judgment of his client, vowing to fight for Grider at every turn.
Let there be no doubt, there were some bad, evil people there, and those people need to be held accountable. There are people who do indeed are a danger to the community and do need to be locked up. Chris Grider was not one of those people.
Then, on February 22nd, after nearly a month in federal custody, a judge ordered that Grider be released under very specific conditions, including having to wear an ankle monitoring device. The judge, Ketanji Brown Jackson, showed no sympathy to Grider, who claims the mob made him do it, telling him, quote, "Make no mistake, Mr. Grider, you did participate. You did have a role in one of the most egregious assaults on our democracy in the history of this country."
He's got a gun! He's got a gun!
32 days following that ruling, a gag order was issued, barring anyone from discussing the case to ensure Grider has a fair trial with an impartial jury. 4 months to the day after Grider surrendered to the FBI in Austin, Grider's request to remove his ankle monitor was denied by the very judge who set him free with conditions. The fact that Grider has been compliant with his conditions of release thus far is insufficient to establish that such conditions are no longer necessary, and that is so regardless of whether Grider's pretrial supervision officer thinks otherwise. As of today, no trial date for Grider has been set. A status conference to update the judge on the case is scheduled for January 13th.
Again, that was Texas Today's Barry Roy reporting for us with that timeline. While Grider does have to wear an ankle monitoring device, we are told the judge has permitted him to travel outside of Bruceville Eddy for various family events.
As for the charges Grider is facing, there's multiple, and if convicted, he could face up to 20 years in federal prison. 6 News recently reached out to Grider's lawyer, Brett Mayer, for updates on the case. He said this in part about his client. "I continue to represent Mr. Grider, and he continues to maintain his innocence. In the years since that day, Chris has maintained himself as a good, humble citizen. He's moved past the political discourse that has consumed this country and is focused on the things most important to him." For more on Grider's case, you can visit KCEN TV.com.